Hello and welcome to the first ever Flying Predator battle report. We have 1,500 points of Dark Eldar and Eldar allies versus Space Marines and Grey Knight allies, playing the Scouring on pitch battle deployment. So starting off with the Grey Knight and Space Marine allies, we have Space Marine Dropout Army led by Volcanistan with two identical tactical squads with Melta and Multi-Melta. We have a Assault Terminator squad. We have 10 Grey Knight Terminators with two Psy Cannons. One of the Psy Cannons on a Justicar, and then we have a Nemesis Demon Hammer. The rest are equipped with Halberds. Then we have a Stern Guard squad with Vulcan. They all have Kami Meltas. Of course, Vulcan has all his special goodness. And then we have a Lone Inquisitor, bare bones, just for that HQ slot. And then we have 3 drop pods. And all that are embarked are in front of their drop pods, just as you see there. Next up, we have Dark Eldar with Eldar allies. We have 5 warriors with a blaster and a raider with knight shields. Then we have 10 warriors with a blaster and a splinter cannon in a raider with knight shields and splinter racks. Then we have 9 witches, with a Hecatrix with blast pistol and agonizer. They all have haywire grenades, and they are riding in a raider with aether sails. And then we have 5 more warriors with a blaster riding in a venom with knight shields and 2 splinter cannons. And we have a 2 ravagers with 3 dark lances each. We have an archon with shadow field and blast pistol and venom blade. And then for the Eldar, we have a farseer with 2 powers, spirit stones, and runes of warding. We have 3 warwalkers with shuriken cannons and scatter lasers. And we have 9 pathfinders. Alright, so overview of the battlefield. For the Scouring, we have the 6 random objectives. They're all over the map, as you can see there. And we don't determine the value, the victory points value of those until after we deploy. So now we're going to be rolling, I'm rolling my psychic powers on my Farseer. I have a 5 and a 2, so I had to scrap the 5, go with 2, which gives my guys a 4th invuln, and take the Prescience. And then for Warlord trait, I got a 4 on Strategic, which lets me re-roll reserve rolls. Eric got a 2 on his Warlord trait, and I believe that gives Vulcan Furious Charge. My Warlord was my Archon. So rolling to see who goes first. Eric goes first, that's middle Rancor there, a little camera shy. So he starts off on turn 1, dropping his 2 drop pods in with the Stern Guard. They're getting out their Kami Meltas ready to do some damage. And then we have the Tactical Squad. That was a direct hit, sorry about that. And they're going to Combat Squad and see what kind of damage they can do. So they get out, they disembark, and then the Grey Knight Terminators start to move up. And the second squad, he Combat Squadded the Grey Knight Terminator, so that's why they're split apart there. Took a Psy Cannon in each squad. And then entering the shooting phase, Vulcan's using his Flamer template to hit all 3 of those Warwalkers. He gets 1 penetrating hit and 1 weapon destroyed. So we randomized for the weapon here. And that took off the scatter laser. We'll pop that right off. And then the Kami Meltas all shooting in their twin link because of Vulcan. He gets 4 hits. He's rolling all the 2d6 for armor penetration. It's not looking good for those Warwalkers. They have no saves, so they're going to bite the dust after all of these penetrating hits. I believe he got all 4 penetrating hits. And they explode and lose all their hull points, so they're just gone. And we roll, we get 6 inches for their explode distance. So that's going to hit the Stern Guard squad. And I get, I believe, 3 wounds on that Stern Guard squad. And so takes his saves and he fails one, so that front Stern Guard is gone. Alright, so then he tries to shoot my Venom. He throws a crack grenade and doesn't do anything. And then he shoots his bolters, and those they get a glancing hit, and they destroy my, or his Melta destroys my weapon. Sorry, it was his Melta that did that. Now his bolters are shooting, and he gets a couple of glancing hits. I get a flicker field save on that, and I fail it, so that is wrecked with only 2 hull points on the Venom. So that goes down, and my guys get out. I'll huddle around there, see if I can get some cover. So now he's shooting more melted weaponry into my raider, seeing if he can do anything. The crack grenades, tons of shots going off, but he doesn't end up doing anything to that other raider. So he runs his terminators now, try to get him in better position. That objective is only worth 1 victory point, so he's kind of not worrying about that. And then he's running these terminators up, trying to get to that very valuable 4-point objective that is right in the middle of the board. And his Stormbolter's shooting at the guys that came out of my Venom, and he gets a wound, and then I fail a cover save, and that guy dies. So we roll to activate these objectives because we forgot to do that. So we got a Grav Wave Generator where the Pathfinders are sitting, and then that one is Sabotage, but we roll to see if it would have blown up on the previous turn, and it did not, so his Terminators are safe. A little overview of the board there. Now moving on to Dark Eldar turn 1. I move my Raiders every which way. My Ravagers get into better position for some shots. Raiders get into better position to do some drive-bys. Roll difficult terrain on these guys, try to get them into cover, but unfortunately I was out a little bit. My Ravagers get into position. Now shooting phase. The guys from the wrecked Venom are shooting into his closer tactical squad right there. Getting a good amount of hits, but only 1 wound, unfortunately. And then I have a blaster, which misses. So he does end up failing that, so 1 tactical marine is killed in action. And then so shooting the drive-by raider with 5 guys inside. They're shooting their splinter weapons. They get a good amount of wounds off. And then shooting the Dark Lance from the raider and the blaster in the squad. Those both hit. Cocked eye there. And those both wound. So he takes his saves. He fails 2 armor saves. And then 2 guys just flat out die from the Strength 8 AP2 blaster wounds. Now this other raider is shooting into them. They're taking a good amount of hits. We got a blaster, and we got a Dark Lance. Oh, that was the witches. The witches got out of the raider to hopefully assault the Sternguard squad. So we had 2 blast pistols in there, and then splinter pistols. So he's got to take them one at a time because 1 Sternguard is the closest before Vulcan. So he takes up all those armor saves, and then he dies after a blast pistol, and then Eric rolls his Lookout Sir for Vulcan, fails it, but makes his 3-up invulnerable save, so Vulcan is not insta-killed. Now we have the 10-man Raider squad, which is shooting into the Sternguard veterans. And we have a lot of rerolls here for splinter racks. The splinter cannon, which I rolled first for, were not rerollable according to the codex. So now we're rolling the wound. We get a good amount of wounds in there. Pretty decent. Love those splinter racks. Now we're rolling for the blaster and the Dark Lance, and those both hit. And those are both going to wound. So I'm going to have him take the splinter wounds first. And he ends up losing 2 guys and takes a wound on Vulcan. Then we have the 2 blaster shots, which he Lookout Sirs for. And then he saves 1 of them with his invulnerable save. So Vulcan's down to 2 wounds. Unfortunately couldn't insta-kill him. But now my Pathfinders... I forgot to cast Psychic Power, so I cast Prescience on my Pathfinders and gave them a 4-up invulnerable. So I start shooting at the Terminators. Shot with a Dark Lance from my Raider, which he made his invulnerable save for. Now shooting my Ravager at Vulcan. We get 3 wounds off 3 shots, and Vulcan takes a wound and is insta-killed. Then my other Ravager is shooting the Grey Knight squad that's coming around the building towards that objective. I get 3 hits, and we do a good amount of wounds. And so he fails his first save, and then he makes the other 2. So the Inquisitor got insta-killed. He was in the front of that squad, so he tried to Lookout Sir, but he failed. Then these are my Pathfinders shooting into, I believe, the Tactical Marines, that squad of 4 that's still left. They're getting a bunch of rerolls from from Prescience rather. The 6s and 5s are all AP1s, and then the other dice are simply regular AP, but he fails both of those, so I end up wiping that squad. He takes the leadership, he makes it, he's fine. Get a good look at our battlefield before moving on to top of Space Marines turn 2. We got some pretty good carnage on both sides going.